The following program contains coarse language and mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Live from the prairie plains of Canada, direct from Winnipeg, Manitoba, around the globe and across all 24 time zones, at blazing speeds on the internet. It's time for the R-rated podcast talk show that promises straight talk and no bullshit. It's Night Talk with your host, Dr. Talk. No topic too taboo, nothing's too risque. He takes it all on for your entertainment. So settle in, turn it up, and tune in for Night Talk with Dr. Talk.
And we're back, like we promised.
I'm back. We're here.
And you're still wearing pants.
Still got pants on. Even tied them up so they don't fall down.
Well, you're sitting down.
Huh. I knew one of us was. Okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk about your business. Why don't you tell us a little about your business?
Well, it is called DTM Productions. And in a basic premise, I convert analog to digital. Some ask, what's analog? It's your old VHS tapes, Super 8s, micro cassettes, vinyl. They're called records to you kids out there. Those big black things your parents have. Into a digital format, such as a USB stick, DVDs, or to more current is more popular is external hard drives. Data banks. So it's I started doing it on DVDs and CDs, and as time has progressed, technology has progressed. It's now mostly to USB sticks and hard drives.
Really?
It is, yeah.
So if I recall correctly, you were doing the last time we talked anyway about this. I thought you were doing slideshows for things like funerals, for example.
We call them celebrations of life.
Okay.
Yeah, slideshows is the pretty much apropos for funerals, weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, etc. I get customers get a collage of pictures together, and I would take the pictures, fix the colors, take creases out. They'd pick their music, and then I put it all together into a nice little package, a customized DVD case and label, and it became more of a keepsake over something you'd get at a funeral home that was a disc with someone's name on it. So I made it more personalized, and that was, that's 15 years ago now.
That long, eh?
And I haven't aged, which is the amazing part.
Minus the little spot in the back there.
That's where the horn comes out. That's there on purpose.
So you started DTM 15 years ago?
It's probably really, honestly, I think the original start is probably about 18, 19 years ago now. I kind of began, like a lot of people back in the day of Napster. We don't talk about Napster. But being a bit of a commercial artist as a pastime, there's a certain drive for perfection as best you can get it to be. And I would not illegally download songs, but to make CD covers and labels and as accurate to the actual cover or create my own covers to have in my collection. It kind of started off there. And as things progressed, I had a family member who had 8mm film, so I was told, of my mom. She passed away a long time ago, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to see that footage. Never got the footage, but I thought to myself, you know what? There's probably tons of people who have VHS tapes, being the primary source of entertainment for over 30 years, or beta, and I began to look into how I could transfer that product into something watchable for my customers primarily. Because everybody has old videotapes in their basement or cupboards or someplace, and not sure what's on them, or it's of people who've passed on. Wedding videos, birthday parties, socials, etc. And I thought it'd be a really cool idea, as my tagline for my business is DTM Productions. I bring your memories back.
Mm-hmm.
For you to be able to see those old tapes of your kids, grandparents, etc. I get a lot of customers who want them as either Christmas, birthday, Mother's Day gifts, etc. So it kind of began there, my own desire to see my own 8mm films of my mom. And I thought it'd be a cool idea to be able to do that for somebody else and give them that piece of their history to watch over and over again on a more secure format. Because as we know, VHS and tape only lasts so long before it loses quality.
Yeah. Well, it gets brittle. It breaks. It gets chewed.
Yeah. You got a bad VCR. You got some kids who put a peanut butter sandwich in the VCR.
Yeah.
Put your tape in there. Next thing you know, so our tapes break, and I repaired a lot of tapes for people, splice them together, and be able to get that going. So yeah, that's where it kind of started. Just kind of really the early days was doing CDs for myself, and then I moved into wanting to bring people back their memories of either past or whatever. So yeah.
So that's actually kind of answers the next question I was going to ask you was why you started DTM Productions. So that takes care of that.
That takes care of that question. Yeah. 2 in 1. See?
Yeah. So what's your history on video transferring, education, etc.?
It began, I started, actually, I was a post-high student, and I had a bad stutter. But I went to Tech Voc High School here in Winnipeg, and there you learn about, I was more of the radio kind of gunky, the guy with the voice, but I was also interested in editing, and I watched how things got done. I didn't do much editing at Tech Voc. I learned the principles of editing, how things go by beat and time and frame progression. So it was playing with video, and as our technology has progressed, with the help of a few close friends, one being yourself, as you're aware, I got some software to play with and learn and taught myself how to edit, how to correct, how to do things like that there. I worked for Dome Productions, aka sometimes TSN, and some other guys there in the high-end trucks worked their skills, and it really intrigued me. And I kind of thought, you know what? Instead of taking radio so much serious when I was in school, I should focus more on editing, because editing's a lot more fun. So it kind of the education that I took, Robertson College Broadcasting as well. There was nothing much there as far as TV goes, but primarily from Tech Voc High School and Dome Productions. That's where I kind of got all my, and of course playing with my software that I have on my computer that helps a lot. And it takes a lot of time sometimes to learn new software. So,
which of course I played a role in as well.
You did, yeah, exactly. Dr. Talk here, Jeff was kind of one of the guys that really, quite a few times, I'm sure you remember, I would call you at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't get something working in my computer or in the software. And just, I'm not sleeping, doesn't matter. So I give him a call. So I give Jeff a call. And again, a lot of kudos to Jeff for giving me the start with the software. He's able to get for me his fingers on and give me a copy of his software that he had. And I was able to take some advice from Jeff and learn to play the software. And the one thing Jeff told me is like, don't be afraid to play with it. You can't mess it up. So I know a lot of my editing skills in latter years to you. So thank you for that. It's I'm very much appreciative.
Of course. Is there any particular transfers that stand out in your history, good or bad?
I've had all kinds, as anybody would. One of the coolest ones I ever did was in the early years, I guess I called that. I had a coworker, who had a VHS tape of his, I think it was his parents' anniversary. And I didn't think, it was your basic 1980s choppy, but after the anniversary was done, as the tape was playing, there was 8mm footage that was transferred onto the VHS tape at some point, and it was video footage of like Winnipeg Stadium before Polo Park was there.
Oh,
that was really cool. I do my best to satisfy every customer I get, personally, make sure they're done very happy with the product. But as we know, in any kind of service business, there's going to be those who don't like your job. I had one lady, I remember it was Thanksgiving weekend, and she wanted their video for Thanksgiving to give to her husband. It was their wedding video from like 1981, maybe 82. And it was shot outdoors in old classic VHS cameras, which had an open mic or omnidirectional mic. So it took all the sounds in, doesn't center on one subject. And she had her 11-year-old nephew hold the video camera to record the ceremony. Well, you know, most kids. So, and the worst part was they had, he stood facing the wind.
Oh, beautiful.
So the ceremony is going on. All you're hearing is,
Yeah.
that's all you're getting.
Yeah.
So I did the transfer for her, and I explained there's no audio to have on the tape. And she got really mad. They go, well, can't you put audio in there? And, you know, sometimes in your own personal business, you get a little more snarky with people. You get a little more. I said, well, if you want to go back 25 years and do the, sure, I can. But there was nothing recorded for the audio for the ceremony. So I put together a music bed for her, which took me, God, back then about 3 hours to get the music bed done. And I got to her house, and she went for Thanksgiving. So I'm missing my Thanksgiving dinner to do her DVD, which, again, that's part of business.
Mm-hmm.
But I took it to her, and she watched it and called me right away. She's like, this is horrible. I did an opening menu for screen for the video. I did the typical, you know, it's a picture of a woman's hands holding roses and a man's hand cupping her hand, the rings. Her complaint was, I hate roses.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I go to her house, and she lived out in St. Vital, so I had to drive back and forth. I was in Transcona back then. And so I drove to St. Vital for the second time that day, got her DVD back, brought it to my place. She didn't like certain songs in the music footbed. Now, the music bed was all instrumental. There was no lyric stuff, all instrumental. So I redid it for her, changed the opening menu to sunflowers, which she preferred. And even then, she still was like, well, it took you a long time. Like, well, you know, it doesn't happen in the snap of a finger. It's amazing. People don't realize the length of time it takes to transfer a video. It takes a lot of work, and the editing process takes time. Nothing happens within seconds. But at the end, she was finally pretty much happy, but she never called me back to thank me, so that's okay.
But you got paid.
I got paid. Oh, yeah, that's, you know, I'm also a fair kind of guy. I don't get paid till the job is done.
Yeah.
So I don't, you know, people say, well, they pay up front. No, you pay me when the job is done. And I mean, if you're not happy, again, I'll do the best I can to make it as best I can for you. But, you know, you can't make everybody happy.
You talked about music beds, instrumental music beds and stuff like that. And in my years working as a bedroom producer.
Sure, we'll call it that. That could sound wrong in some circles, but okay, I'll go with that.
Well, you know that I've also done voiceover work.
Oh, yes, very much so.
And so I've got a collection, a huge collection of sound effects, music beds. I've even bought bulk boxes of commercial royalty-free music beds.
Mm-hmm.
What about you and copywritten material?
Well, that was kind of the first concern I began the business. I mean, because I don't want to break any laws. I don't want to go to prison, that's for sure. So actually I called the CRTC directly and inquired to the actual legality of doing a transfer of, say, you have a movie at home on VHS or beta that you can't find on DVD or anywhere else. So the actual way it was presented to me from the CRTC is I charged for the service of transferring the product, not for the copy of the product. Now, I cannot go make 25 copies of a movie that's copyrighted and sell that, because they're selling the movie copies or the actual movie. I can make the single copy for a customer and specify that you are paying me for the transfer process, not the copy of the movie. CRTC loop, I didn't make it, but it's there. I don't get a whole lot of requests for transferring copyrighted product, but I've done probably about, I'd say, 12 in the last 18 years. And in the last 10 years, Nothing copyrighted at all.
Mm-hmm. And aside from that, what other services do you offer?
Well, we had touched on before about doing slideshows. So again, I make it's a keepsake that goes in your library of DVDs or wherever you want to put it. I can do I mentioned records or vinyl to a CD, MP3, cassette tapes, the formats. I tinkle a little bit with picture enhancement and colorization and correction. Um, there's a lot more expensive software and guys who do it with much more better detail than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But the pictures I've done for people, I've been very happy with. Bear in mind, I don't do a poster-sized picture of someone's old 35 millimeter film. I don't have that kind of software to make it that detailed. But, a 4x6, 5x7, it's nice quality, and I've had no complaints so far in regards to that kind of quality.
Are you using Photoshop?
No, actually, I don't. I got a piece of software when I bought my first printer. I think it's my first printer. It came with, it's called Roxio. It's version 5.
Oh, yeah.
It has a lot of nice touch-ups to it and a lot of correction. I also use a thing, it's called InPaint. It's software that removes scars and scratches. And so, and I've been, I don't want to criticize any company ever. I've been to, fortunately, a few funerals, and I've seen a few slideshows in my time working as a DJ years ago, as you know. But I always couldn't figure out why you do a slideshow presentation for somebody and not take the time to take the creases out of someone's face in a picture, or etc. So that, to me, I think puts me a little higher above everybody else as far as my quality, because I take the time to make sure that it's personalized and looks as best as it possibly can.
Yeah. Oh, you're done. That's your answer.
That's my, so my answer is that, so that's, I provide, a little bit of picture touch up. As far as the formats I transfer, that's kind of part of the question. I can do VHS. I can do beta. There's a thing for a short run, which you remember is called Super VHS.
Yep.
That has a small VHS cassettes. I do those. High 8 micro cassette or micro videotapes, audio cassette tapes, vinyl, and again, I still do the slideshows as well. So there's a lot of facets to it. Not as many some places have. I've been asked 100 times, if not more, do I do film? I did film for a while, but I found the machines to be not the quality I would prefer to give to my customers. Plus, there's a risk of the film being damaged, and I don't want to do that for someone's memories. So I stopped doing film. There's enough guys who do it in the city that do a good job. I know the guys who are good at it and those who aren't good at it. So I was just for the good guys for the film.
That's too bad, because in the video description, I happened to mention that you did transfer film.
Oh yeah, I used to do film. Yeah, I went through 3 machines in about a 1.5-year span, and it was always the same issue. It would snag or catch or hesitate, and it just jitters. And if you are transferring a film and you got to stop the transferring, you can't. Well, you can start and stop it, but then you got to start and stop every 15-20 seconds. And with film, that's a lot of edits to do. So I don't do film because it's too risky for the customer's possessions. I don't want to damage it, so I step away from film.
Well, speaking of which, if you're, aside from film, if you're dealing with a videotape, whatever format it is, what do you do if that tape comes to you and it's broken?
Well, there's been a couple scenarios where I've had them, for example, the outer shell, the VHS or beta tape. It's usually VHS is the biggest problem. It's cracked, it's broken, it's caved in. So I physically have opened the cases up, removed the actual VHS tape out of the pictures, and put it back into a different case or a new VHS case. I keep all kinds of VHS from years given to me, the old blank ones. I swap the outer shell out, put it back together, put in the VCR. If the tape is broken inside, it depends where the break is. If it's early on the tape, I'll cut the tape off at the end, take the, the clip that holds the tape to the reel, put it back together, go smooth. I also splice VHS tape. Splicing goes a long way back. I'm sure, like back to radio days and the old reel-to-reel machines. When you splice a VHS tape, you can't get an exact match as far as the frames go, but I find that people are more than happy that I was able to get that tape to play through, and if there's that 1 millisecond glitch, they're okay with that. They have their product, they have their memories, they get to watch over and over again.
So we've gone through pretty much a grocery list of all the different things that you do, different formats, different services that you provide. Let's talk dollars and cents.
Let's talk dollars and cents. So
what's the cost?
What's the cost? You know, my basic flat cost for, say, a VHS tape is $30 a transfer. Some say it's kind of pricey, but as I said, bear in mind, and there are guys who do it cheaper. Don't get me wrong; that's fine. Go where you want to go. I'll match a price if you bring me a better price. But I charge $30 per tape, whether it's a 5-minute tape or a 6-hour tape. It's still $30. Other guys will charge you by the hour of the tape. Well, it's $15 per hour of videotape or per foot of film. My prices aren't outrageous. I keep track of prices in the city, and mine may be a little bit more in some cases. But again, what I'm doing with your tape is I take it into my computer, and I sit there and I edit and enhance the colors. I try and fix any kind of tracking issues. Other guys don't do that. They basically slap it in the VCR, push play, walk away, and then they come back after a time frame, and they grab the video file into the time frame, and they just render it to the hard drive or disk. I sit there, I check the frames over, I check the colors, I check the audio. If it's really low audio, I have audio software to enhance that. So what I'm doing is actually literally editing your tape so it's the best quality as possible. Remember, it's still VHS or beta or whatever kind of tape. So a VHS is still a VHS, whether it's on a DVD, a hard drive, or wherever. It's not going to be 1080p. It's not going to be high def. It's a VHS tape or whatever format it is on a disc. It's that the tape is now in a format that is less likely, hugely less likely, to be lost or damaged.
So what you're saying is the selling feature is what you're selling as opposed to the competition.
It's a better product in the end because being a small at-home kind of guy, I have the time and the luxury and the compassion for the business to make it as best I can without gouging you. I had one gentleman who had, I'm trying to remember now, I think it was 38 micro cassette tapes, those small ones from back in the early 90s. I think it was 38. And he was an engineer, train engineer. And he had wanted, there was a lot of start and stop. So he had like a video of a train coming in and a train leaving. And he wanted each train leaving and coming in as a separate file. And these are 2-hour tapes. So if someone was charging an hourly base, it took me, I think, about 70 hours to transfer all those tapes and get all the editing done. So that's you're talking about 2 weeks of full-time work, or it took me about 4.5, almost 5 months to get it all done for him. I won't say how much I charged him, but compared to other places, I was probably about a quarter of the cost.
Yeah.
To other places, I called a few places and told them exactly what I was looking for, and the guy's like, "Well, we charge this, and this," and I'm like, "Well," but so I charged a gentleman, and I did tell him what I called a couple places. Here's what they're going to charge you. Here's what I'm going to charge you. He was ecstatic, and he called me back after he got the films back on the hard drive. He said, "You know what? This is amazing. Thank you so very much." So it's the thanks you get. Yes, you're paying. In some cases, you think more, but I'm giving you more for less.
Okay. And the end result was he wanted it on a hard drive?
Yeah. You have to watch because a DVD holds 2 hours of video time. Now, there's dual discs, which hold 4 hours.
4 hours, yeah.
I find a lot of times those discs either just don't finish the burning process, or there's always some sort of fault for playback. So I just stick to 2 hour discs.
You're using the wrong disc then, Dennis.
I've tried a few different styles of discs.
Verbatim.
I've got a whole pile of verbatim in my office that are 4 hour, 800 gig, and you know what? Or sorry, 8.5. And I'll put it in the computer and either get a fault of burning process or it does burn. And I go to watch it and it'll stop or skip or freeze. And that's
never had a bad disc.
I've had about 11 in the last 10 years.
Hmm.
So, but again, we're in 2023. DVDs, Blu-rays are almost a thing of the past. We're into USB and hard drives and direct drives and storage drives.
Yeah.
The TVs now have USB ports and HDMI ports you just plug into and you plug and play. It's an amazing world of technology. It's advanced so much compared to years ago when you only had, CDRs or DVD-R, DVR plus or minuses.
What do you do with the tapes once you've transferred them?
I get asked that a lot. People will ask me, I get the tape back, will my video still be on the tape? Yeah, of course it'll be. I'm not taking I know this sounds like a silly question, but it's someone's concern, right? You got someone's grandfather's wedding from eons ago transferred. So nothing is lost off the tapes. Yeah. I put the tape back into my computer through my VCRs and other equipment, and I put that into a software program, and I edit that from the computer. Your tape will sit there on my desk while I edit. Your video is still there. It's not been lost. People have the option. You can leave me the tapes if you want to, but I'm throwing it in the garbage afterwards. I'm not going to keep the tapes because I have no use for them.
Yeah. Do you have the know-how or the technical ability to upscale if somebody wants a video in 1080p?
I have not gone that route yet. I don't find anybody wants a 1080p wedding video from 1982. I'm sure it can be done. I have not looked into it personally. I think most because my customers are happy, they're ecstatic that they get their videos on a drive. So I've never looked at going to high def or 1080p for an analog signal.
Well, the main reason, first of all, would be aspect ratio.
Right.
16:9.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at 1920 by 1080.
Mm-hmm.
And Vegas will do that.
It will. But don't forget as well, you're still going from a VHS quality tape. If you go too far into the high def, your pictures get grainy.
That's true. Yeah.
So and that's something else I contend with. I mean, I can take a videotape or a picture and I use the analogy, if you turn a screw too tight, it's going to strip.
Mm-hmm.
If you mess too much with the analog signal, tape, video, or audio, it's going to get scratchy, or really distorted. And the quality may be better, but the end result is not as good as was on the original tape.
Do you pick up and deliver?
Sometimes. I've been asked. I mean, I have no problem if it's within a certain range. Like, I wouldn't go to Gimli to get someone's tapes. But, I've gone as far as, what's the furthest I've gone to? I've probably gone, actually had a customer, John, can't remember his last name now.
O'Neill.
If he's watching, it's going to happen.
He very well might be watching.
Yeah,
Johnny.
He's going to miscount our pills on purpose now. I had a customer, his name was John. He had some tapes he wanted transferred, and he wanted DVD. But the problem was he didn't have a DVD player.
Oh.
And didn't know how to hook up one. He was way out past McGilvery. So I'm in contact with this guy. I mean, I think it was like 12 tapes I did for him. And as part of my niceness, So I'll tell you what, John, I'll get you a DVD player. You can pay me back at your house. I'll come and hook it up for you, which I did. So I went down to his house with his DVDs in play, in package, a new DVD machine, went to his house, into the basement. We had the old classic wooden hard case TVs.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to, they still had the ports to hook up a DVD player to it. So I hooked up the DVD player for him. And he's like, what do I do now? So I was there for probably about 3 hours, explained to him how to work with DVDs and stuff. And he was so appreciative. He actually, I says, way up past McGilvery, and he was a widower. He called me about a week and a half later, and he brought me a Minnesota Vikings baseball cap he bought for me in thanks for the extra time going to his house.
Oh.
I didn't charge him for gas. I just, hey, he was a guy who was a senior, 70 plus years old. He didn't know how this stuff works. I have no problem coming to educate you and teach you how to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing to do. And I think a lot of people don't have patience for elderly because they are seniors and they don't understand coaxial, RCA, etc. So, but he was a great guy. He was really appreciative, and he was, he was a funny guy to go with. So I had a good time.
Before I forget, in general, on your average sort of order, what's the turnaround time?
I always overproject. I'll say, 2 weeks, depending on how many tapes there are. But I mean, average time, most times about within a week, 5 days.
And that's based on how many tapes?
If it was 3 to 4 tapes, probably 5 days, depending on, if there's 6 hours, it's a longer process, obviously. But most of my turnaround time, and people don't give me a lot of 6-hour tapes either. But if it's a big order, I'm honest, it takes more time. It could be a month and a half in some cases. I mean, I do work a full-time day job, plus I've got family, so it's so it takes time. But if it's for one tape, more times than not, I get it done overnight, and then you're surprised. You said a week. Well, you know what? If I don't want to say it's be done for you tomorrow, and it's not done for you tomorrow. So better to over-project the time frame than under-project it.
Right.
Or predict, I guess is the proper term.
Just for clarity purposes, for those that may be watching that are perhaps thinking that they might be in need of your service, kind of dumb it down a little bit and walk us through the process.
Okay, easy enough. Well, after initial contact, I tell my customers there's no charge for what's we're looking for? Missing the word in my head now. There's no charge. The consultation or for the estimate. Estimate is free. You give me your tapes. I'll go through them before I do anything. I'll go through the tapes, see what kind of time frame are on the tapes. Then I'll determine, okay, for example, you need to have the right size hard drive or USB stick to incorporate to the video. So once I've got a quote together, I'll contact the customer. I offer to pick up the USB or hard drive to add to the bill. Then in the case, it's playback time. And playback is real time. There's no putting the VCR, pardon me, and the computer goes, okay, here it is, and zip it out. It's got to play back into the computer.
Yeah, it's not like the old days, folks, where we're talking about high-speed dubbing cassettes.
Yeah. Oh, those are great back and such great quality back then too.
Yeah.
So the VCR, the tape, and anything has to play back into the computer, where you create the folder for the video to be held into. Then it goes into an editing software. In my case, I use Sony. I again color correct where I can, enhance audio where I can, create ins and outs, fonts if required. And then it goes through a thing called rendering or transfer, converting it to like MPEG 4. Thank you. And that process will take longer than the playback. So if you have a 2-hour tape, it's going to render for probably 2.5 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
So now you're at 5 hours to take little Johnny's birthday tape from McDonald's back in the 70s into an MP4 format. After that, if I go direct to a hard drive, it's mere drag and drop and done. If I'm doing DVDs, as I mentioned, they hold 2 hours of time. You got to edit that 5-hour tape or 4-hour tape into two-hour segments, 92 DVDs. So when I'm doing transfers, I always tell my customers the two prices I quote them is A, you can pay me $35 per DVD, supplies and things, or $30 for the whole one tape. If it's a 6-hour tape, that's 3 DVDs. Therefore, it's 30, 70, $105 for one tape. If I go direct to a hard drive or a USB stick, it's $30. Which way are you going to go, do you think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once the rendering is done, depending where it's going to go to, USB or to a DVD, then it's burned to disk or to the drive. If it's going to a drive, I drag and drop, and that takes, depending on how many files, how big they are, that could be up to 3 or 4 hours, depending on how many files I transfer to the hard drive or the stick. If you're burning the disk, well, disks burn at 16 times speed. There's faster speeds. As we both know, faster isn't better for quality.
Right.
So that process will be longer. So I guess in total, if it's a 2-hour tape to a DVD, hours-wise, 4.5, you're probably thinking about almost 8 hours to get that to a DVD. Again, to a hard drive, you're going to go direct to drop. It's playback, record, edit, drop. So it's half the time going to a USB stick or to a hard drive.
Now, before you, if you haven't already finished, people that may not be so technically inclined, how many gigs does a video need? Now, I know the answer, you know the answer,
yes.
But
those who are watching at home don't know, like John.
May not know, like John O'Neill.
I don't use last names. But so it's 4 gigs of space for every 2 hours of video. So again, your average DVD is 4 gigs, 2 hours. So if you have, I get bad at math, if you have 16 hours, 16 times 4, that's what, 56 gigs?
It's a whole bunch.
It's a ton. Yeah, it's a whole lot. You're exactly right. So it's a time-consuming process, and I love every second of it. I'm not going to lie to my customers. Say, yeah, I sit and watch your videos while they're playing back. I don't. I push play, set my alarm, and walk, and I come back. I do check on them to make sure there's no anything bad happening. But once the tape is finished playing back into my computer, that's when I inspect the video stream. Whereas, again, other guys will let it play. They'll come back, cut and copy or paste it, and done. I look at the video stream or the quality after it's been transferred. So I'm not sitting here for 2.5 hours where you tape plays on my computer. That's done afterwards.
Okay. Excellent answer to that question.
No, thank you. I learned from the best.
That's me.
It's actually my screen here, the notes you sent me. So
insert compliment at this point.
Yeah, make it go bigger. I think we're good there. Thanks.
That's about all the questions that I have. Anything else you'd like to add?
Nope. You can contact me through Facebook. I have a Facebook page called DTM Productions. Just type in DTM and I'll pop up there. You can contact me anytime, day or night. I tend to respond usually within an hour at the very most.
Actually, hang on. I'm going to do something here.
Oh, more questions.
No.
Nope.
I am going to add a little piece of text that'll go on the screen.
Oh, very nice.
What is your email?
It's Dennis Koniak, so my full name, first and last name, so DENNISKONIAK 926 at gmail.com.
Okay, now all I need to do is resize it
Make it bigger.
so it'll fit on the screen.
Scroll across the whole screen.
Well, it's huge right
One
now.
at a time.
Yeah.
Flashing bright pink letters.
Okay, here it comes.
All right.
There
I
it
can't
is.
see it because I minimize my screen so I don't see myself.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll see it later on the read.
It's on the screen right now.
All right, I'll see it later on.
Okay, so there's Dennis's email address. If you have any inquiries for your video needs, weddings, anniversaries.
Yeah, for your slideshow performance. I don't go record that stuff, but I'll transfer it for you.
Although you do have the equipment that you could record.
But I don't have the time.
I know, but you could.
I could, but I don't have the time.
But you could.
I could, but I don't have the time.
But you could.
Yes, I could, but I won't. Because I don't have the time.
Johnny's got a bunch of cameras.
I know he does, but he's very talented with his videography. He's a great photographer. It's amazing.
I know. I've seen a lot of his work.
Yeah. So yeah. That's it in a nutshell, pretty much. I'm asked a lot of times, what does DTM stand for?
I know the answer.
You know the answer, but I'm not going to tell anybody. We'll keep it a secret.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't. It's funny because I was actually at a dealership about 3-4 months ago, and the guy says, DTM, is that something filthy? I says, it could be, but it's not. I don't usually tell what it means. So I think some will figure it out pretty easily. Some are just stumped. I let them figure it out.
I'm tempted.
You are tempted, but you're a good guy, so you'll keep your mouth. I know you'll live, so.
No, I won't say anything.
I know you won't. It's okay. But also, as I was thinking about it, if people watch my Facebook page, there's a couple times a year I'll put up a promo for like 2-for-1 transfers. So I'll watch my Facebook page and DTM Productions.
That's what I was going to say. I should have suggested this to you before we went on the air.
What's that?
If someone emails you looking to hire you,
right?
Why don't we run a promo where they mention that they saw the podcast, the Dr. Talk,
right?
The Night Talk with Dr. Talk podcast with you,
okay,
and they get 10-15% off.
Here's what I'll do. If you email me or through Facebook, DTM Productions, that you heard me on Dr. Talk this very show, I will do you a deal of 2-for-1.
There you go.
So that goes to, it won't be DVD. It'll go to USB stick or hard drive. You still got to pay for the hard drive or USB stick. But as I said, if it's 2 6-hour tapes, you're getting a good chunk of video work done for free.
Now, do you keep a supply of USB sticks and hard drives in stock?
It's hard to because every tape is different length. So I have bought in the past and kept stock. I prefer to go see what video length I require and contact my customer. Say, okay, I need this size of a hard drive or USB stick. Do you have one, or do you want me to go pick up one, add to the bill? It goes about half and half. Some people have USB sticks doing nothing. Some have no idea what they are. So
where do you get yours? Amazon?
Amazon, Best Buy, Staples. I'll shop around for the best deal for my customers. I'm not going to go gouge my customers for a $35 10 or 16 gig USB stick. I get it for $10 somewhere else. I don't add any extra cost. You get the receipt for the USB stick or the hard drive, so you see I'm not charging more for that supply.
Did you know? I tried. I was recently looking into getting an Apple Watch.
Okay.
And I contacted Rogers first,
Of course.
and I talked to them months ago. I talked to the store manager at KP.
Right.
She told me, call me back in November, preferably December, because the new Series 8s will have been out for a while.
Right.
The Series 7s will be a lot cheaper. I figured, okay, it makes sense. So I called back November. I got somebody else on the phone. Oh, we don't have any of those left.
Yeah.
All we have is the 8s.
Oh, of course.
But you can try calling Best Buy.
Yep.
Okay, so I've got like 700 contacts in my iPhone.
It's a few.
How many have you got?
I think 63.
Really?
Yeah. Not a very popular guy, believe it or not.
I don't know where I got 700 contacts. But anyway.
It's probably John's number 800 times over. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's one number 700 times on the phone.
Yeah, so I called Best Buy, and it rang, and a machine answers, and it's this long, drawn-out recording.
Been there.
Prompting me, press 1 for this, 2 for this, 3 for this, whatever.
Or go to bestbuy.com/support/ yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you know you cannot call a Best Buy store anymore?
Yes. Yep.
You knew this.
I did. I had to experience it. I mean, I called for a customer for some hard drives, and nobody, you got to drive down there and physically go to the store.
That ever pissed me off.
Well, it's kind of going backwards, right? It's like, but I get why they're doing it, because they bring people to the store then, and people are going to want to buy other stuff. You're there, well, I'm here, might as well grab this or grab that. This is on sale. So it's a way to drive sales up, which I guess is a smart ploy. But if you're looking for the one item that they might have in stock, yeah, it pisses you off because you're going for the one item and you're not sure they have it in stock because their website's not near up to date. So, yeah, I get it.
You look at their... Go ahead.
It's just the way it's going with all kind of companies now. It's like, you can't go to their website because the website's either booked down or not up to date. And you have to physically go to the store and walk in and try and find somebody from that department. Well, we'll find someone for you, sir. And you're there for 25 minutes. Okay, is anybody going to come over here? Like, what did they do? Go on break? Yeah.
Last time I was there, I was looking at TVs. Just browsing. I've got a TV. I didn't need one. I was just looking.
Right.
And the shelves had demo models.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing in stock.
There's no product. After part of the problem, as I work a service company. I work at a retail store. It's supply. COVID shut the world down.
Yeah.
So people aren't making them as fast. And even with cars, no new cars came into the shops because they're missing certain parts that are stopped manufacturing out of China because COVID shut them down. I mean, you don't realize how much China actually contributes to our world over here until you see, they're not working over there. Things are being sacrificed. We're not getting the product anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's way of the world, I'm afraid, right now. And hopefully things change for the better. But all we can do is hang tight and do the best we can to get along and be patient.
Another experience I had was, what was this now? Oh, I had to go. Have you been for a colonoscopy?
Not recently, no. I'm hoping one day.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Keep my pants on.
Well, we're both that age,
We are, yeah. No, I hear you.
And unfortunately, I had to go for one. This was back in July of last year.
Yeah.
And my gastroenterologist was downtown at the Manitoba Clinic, I think.
All right.
And for whatever reason, there was this back and forth of booking an appointment, then calling me to cancel because he wasn't available, rescheduling an appointment for like 8 a.m. And you know me, I don't recognize 8 a.m.
No, you don't. You're a crack of noon kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So me phoning back to reschedule, then I don't get somebody answering the phone on that end. I get a machine. So that results in leaving a message which may or may not get answered that day or that week. Then I get a letter with my new appointment time, which is like 4 weeks later. Okay?
That's a pretty good space of time, actually, in today's society, but okay, sure.
Okay, so the story's not over yet.
Didn't think it was.
I'm counting down to the appointment time.
Mm-hmm.
I always ask for afternoon appointments.
Right.
And it's coming up. No, I get another call. Doctor is not available. He's going to be in surgery all day. That day, he needs to reschedule. Do you have a preference?
Yes, now.
I'm skipping a bunch of steps here, but the last time I talked to the same woman, I told her, I said, I told you people to please put in my file, afternoon appointments, please.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want afternoon appointments? Yes. Is the inflection in my voice somehow indicative of something other than afternoon appointments? You twat waffle.
Maybe she's from Australia.
No, she wasn't. She was from an island.
Anyways.
So eventually I did get to the date.
That's good. I'm glad you went. It's a huge undertaking in today's society. No two ways about it.
Not fun.
I'll take your word for it for now. I'm sure my time is coming, but hey, whatever comes. It's part of life and aging. That's just how it goes.
You still seeing Dr. O?
Oh no, not for a long time now.
Oh, good.
No, at least 6, 7, 8 years.
Thank God.
God says you're welcome.
Who's coughing?
That's my daughter in the living room. We're getting through the end of a cold virus spell here in the house, hence the water and losing the voice a bit there. So I'm at the end of mine and she's finishing off hers. So it's that season. It's flu and cold season, right? Everybody gets it out there. And if you're out in public, mask or not, there's a chance to get a bug somewhere.
Yeah. Oh. I didn't tell you yesterday. Dad went out to.
Now, is this going to be in the podcast?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, well, that's fine. If I don't get too personal on the point, mind you mentioned cost of it. Just watching your audience here.
Yeah. Viewership is just going down. Maybe I better not say.
Maybe more a private conversation would be a better way to go.
We'll leave it for another time.
Yeah, part 2.
Part 2, yeah.
Part 2 are battles of the medical system.
We'll do
we got a lot of stories to tell in that department, I'm sure.
We'll do the R-rated version.
Yeah, for the adults after midnight.
Actually, I played the intro for the show, so technically this is the R-rated version.
Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, I heard the opening's got some R rating to it, so it's okay.
It does. Well, it says bullshit.
It makes PG. That's called what it is. Back in the days, you couldn't say goddamn on TV.
Yeah.
Anything goes. So, that's again for another day. We could have several talks about all kinds of things in the future with the technology nowadays. I mean, I can remember we used to talk years ago about winning billions of dollars and renting a room at the top of the hotels and just think of dumb shit to talk about.
The top floor.
Yeah, the penthouse.
Top floor of what used to be the TD building.
Right, yeah. Now
which is no longer the TD building.
No, it's not.
What is it, the RBC building now, right?
Who knows? Somebody owns it every 5 years. It changes owners. I'm sure eventually be called something, like, I don't know, like the A&W headquarters. I don't know.
Half Moon Restaurant building.
Half Moon, yeah. Savalas, I don't know, something on it eventually. But again, that's, the nice part is technology now allows us to get out there and speak our minds of certain things. And there are some who are hateful and some who aren't. And that's okay. But as far as what we began our subject as being DTM Productions, I want to thank you for inviting me to this show and this forum to talk things out. I love, as you know, supporting local guys and local businesses, and you're as local as they get, being a Transcona boy. And I wish you lots of success on your podcast and lots of viewership. And yeah, just want to say thanks for thinking about me and doing this. I really had a good time doing this with you. So we can do more podcasts in the future that aren't business based. I'm sure we'll have a laugh ride as we always used to on the phone back in the early days when speakerphones actually took headsets. So
that's right.
We drained batteries.
Yeah.
Back in those days. So.
Well, we'll call it a wrap then.
All right, I'm good. That's awesome. Thank you for, again, letting me come on the show here. It was a pleasure. I think I got what I wanted out to the people, and hopefully they contact me soon. And yeah.
2 for 1, right?
2 for 1. Let's run that till, what's the date today? January 30th?
Yeah.
Let's go to February 14th. That's 2 weeks.
Okay.
2-week promo. So if you got a Valentine's Day gift you want to give for somebody, now's the best time to contact me because I can get them done in time for Valentine's Day in most cases. So, all set.
All right.
All right, Jeffrey.
All right, Denny.
Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon, I'm sure. Look forward to seeing more of your podcasts in the future.
Okay, and to the viewers, big announcement next. Not next. This. Well, yeah, next. Sure,
it's Monday, so yeah. So
this coming Sunday, Wayne Halati is going to be on from Free Ride.
Oh, nice.
Stories from the road, untold stories from the road. Wayne tells me he's in the process of writing a book.
He's a musician. He can write. Never mind.
He's a drummer. Yeah, just like me. He can
Drummers
write.
can't count. They can't write either. They can't count either.
Oh,
they can't count past 4.
That's all we need.
It's 4.
Yeah.
1, 2, another 1.
Anyway, he's going to be on the show on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to it. And the people I've been talking to, they're pretty stoked about it. So spread the word. Sunday, 8 p.m. Wayne Halati from Free Ride will be on Night Talk with me, Dr. Talk.
I'm sure Wayne can still do tapes as well to transfer. Just give that push there towards
Right.
Hey, Wayne, I got a buddy who can transfer your old footage from years back because they've been on for a long time, Free Ride.
There you go. I'll mention it to him.
Good plan.
Okay.
You have a good night. Thanks for the, let me back on you again. Hi, everybody out there in the free world. And Johnny, it wasn't my idea to make fun of you. All right, I'm out.
All right, brother.
Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Okay, see you, buddy.
Bye-bye now.
Good night, everyone.